Every Jedi and Sith in the galaxy must be skilled in lightsaber combat to survive. Although the Jedi are known to rely on their peaceful negotiations, that does not mean that they don't understand the importance of lightsaber combat. So here are the 7 forms of lightsaber combat and which Jedi and Sith use them. Form 1, Shi Cho, and that's actually how it's pronounced, but whatever. When learning lightsaber techniques, a Jedi or Sith apprentice is trained to recognize all 7 forms of combat. Shi Cho, also known as Form 1, is the oldest and most elementary form of lightsaber combat developed by the Jedi Order. Lucian Dre, a Jedi Master during the era of the Mandalorian Wars, utilized Shi Cho in combat quite a bit, but I'll talk about him more in a different video. Shi Cho is still taught to youngling Jedis because it is the most basic. This style is known to be used when all other forms of combat have failed. Because this form has such early origins, Shi Cho is not optimized for lightsaber to lightsaber combat, and is only used for defense. Form 2, Makashi. Once the Dark Jedi and Sith Lords emerged, Form 1 became outdated and the Jedi needed a combative form that was both offensive and defensive. Something more equipped for a lightsaber to lightsaber combat. At this point, many switched to the Makashi form, like Count Dooku, and he also trained Asajj Ventress and General Grievous in this form. This form is both graceful and calculated, relying on balance and complicated footwork to outsmart their opponent. In the Makashi form, opponents only use one hand, and with this form, the user is usually able to disarm their opponent without killing them. Form 3, Soresu. As intergalactic combat changed and blasters became more relevant, the Makashi form of fighting soon became obsolete. Unlike Shi Cho, which is still used by Jedi, Form 3, also known as Soresu, or the Way of the Mynock, replaced Makashi. This form is known to be the most quick to recover and the ultimate expression of the non-aggressive Jedi philosophy. Obi-Wan Kenobi, a master of Soresu, was said to be able to block any strike and able to move less than 20 hits per second. Another reason why this method became so prominent was for its defensive tactics. A Jedi needs to be able to protect themselves from all sides, and Soresu is the perfect tactic to not only combat in a duel, but to deflect any potential shots coming at the fighter. Although many Jedi fighters use Soresu, Luke Skywalker proved himself excellent at this technique while fending off scout troopers on Endor. Form 4, Ataru. As lightsaber wielders started becoming more skilled and powerful in the Force, Form 4, also known as Ataru, or the aggression form, grew in prominence. Ataru fighting techniques date back through the Old Republic and even were employed during the Mandalorian Wars. Due to its aggressive nature, Ataru became the favored combat style for many Sith, and is marked as the second most kinetically active combat form aside from Form 7. Much of the Ataru style is affected by how skilled the fighter is with the Force, seeing as it heavily relies on the use of Force-assisted acrobatics. Like Makashi, Ataru is most useful in one-on-one lightsaber combat, relying on a compilation of speed, agility, and strength. Before the fall of the Old Republic, both Yoda and Qui-Gon Jinn were some of the most skilled Jedi in using Form 4. In Revenge of the Sith, Yoda displays his excellence in using the Ataru combating style while fighting Darth Sidious. And I know I talked about this in my last video, about how Yoda still uses a cane, but then still fights really fast, and I kind of mentioned this in it, so definitely check that video if you want after this one. Ataru is not a fighting method that can or should be used by novices of the Force. It is a lightsaber tactic that requires detailed Force knowledge and can only be employed by those who can become one with the Force, allowing the Force to flow through them freely. Form 5. Shien and Gem So. When observing Form 5 of lightsaber combat, a good opponent will be able to recognize the two principal disciplines of Shien and Gem So. Form 5 evolved from Form 3 as a method not to only defend oneself but also to give the fighter an opportunity on the offensive. Shien is mainly used in combat that takes place at a distance, like deflecting shots from a blaster. On the other hand, Gem So was specifically designed for a lightsaber-to-lightsaber combat. Like many lightsaber forms, this one is used by both Sith and Jedi alike, although some Jedi felt that the aggression used in this form was not faithful to the Jedi way. Many lightsaber-wielding individuals prefer to use Form 5 because it relies less on acrobatics than some of the other offensive forms. Form 6. Niemann. Niemann was developed in order to combine many of the previous forms into one centralized fighting technique. In merging the previous forms, Form 6 became the first form that did not have a signature fighting technique, but also the first form that did not have a particular weakness. Because of the lack of specialization to this method, when training in the Niemann form, lightsaber wielders usually accompany this form of combat with force-based combat. And the last form, Form 7, called Juyo or Vaipad, whichever you want to call it. Form 7 is the last known form of lightsaber combat and is known to be the most aggressive. Jedi Master Mace Windu is the main Jedi known to use this form of combat because only the most force-sensitive individuals can execute this form successfully. When Mace Windu fought Darth Sidious, he used Form 7 and took the upper hand in the fight. Once Master Windu disarmed Sidious, he was given the opportunity to take out this powerful Sith, but knew it was not the way of the Jedi to murder an unarmed fighter. His immense force knowledge and lightsaber skills allowed him to disarm the most dangerous man in the galaxy. It was not Windu's fighting skills, but devotion to honor the Jedi way that led him to his death. In general, all lightsaber fighting styles will partially overlap with another form. Each lightsaber combat form has its own distinct look, but many times several forms of procedure will be used in a given duel or fight. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Follow me on Instagram at star.wars.memes and subscribe to Star Wars Aspect for videos about everything Star Wars. May the Force be with you. Bye.